Coach, Duluth coming up this weekend. You guys had a week off. You said it was good for your team to rest up. What are you expecting from Minnesota Duluth this weekend?
I mean, they're one of the most well-coached teams in the country. They always are. They're going to be coming in really hungry. Chasing points in the standings like everybody we play. There's no nights off in this league. We know that. We've learned that the hard way. So we got to be ready. They're going to be very good.
Did you guys have an overarching theme of practice last week or something you really wanted to focus on?
Last week?
Yeah.
Last week was just staying competitive. We competed a lot and we wanted to have some fun too. It was a good week to have off. It's the holiday week. It's Thanksgiving. It's hard to keep kids focused on holiday week, so I like the week off. Some people thought it would have been more, a little bit more advantageous for us to continue the momentum. But I like where we're at, and this week we've gone really hard at them to make sure they're not getting complacent and thinking they're special because we swept a really good team. So we got to just keep working.
Was there anything in that Denver series with still how good it was that you looked at and like, we still want to fix this, this, and this?
I mean, we were pretty good. To beat them twice on the road, you have to be really good, right? So, I felt like in that series, we really didn't play much different than we did in the previous 6 games. It just finally clicked for us, and our guys found a way to win. Again, like I told you guys, and I've told everybody, I really like how we played in really every league game. And starting at CC, I felt like we probably deserved to come out of there with at least one win, and loved the Friday night loss against Omaha. Played really well. That might have been our sharpest outing of the year. Just ran into a really hot goalie again, and we stuck with it. Our guys stuck with how we want to play, continue to establish our identity, and then at Denver we set the standard for ourselves, and now we got to hold ourselves to that standard every day.
Coach, what do you see from Noah Beck so far, especially in the power play as a quarterback?
I think just experience and poise. He probably gets shots through from the top better than anybody we've had. And since Artie's been back on the power play, that's been huge. I mean, before he was healthy, in those first 6 games, we were 0% on power play faceoffs. 0%. Since we're 70. So we start with the puck. His retrievals on the power play are unbelievable. We're getting second and third chances because he retrieves pucks so well. It keeps pucks alive for us. That's how we scored the power play goal to tie it Saturday. Was off a face-off win and a big retrieval by him. So those are the things that the Wayman doesn't see, and they make all the difference. So he's been obviously a difference maker. Yeah, I mean, all 3 freshmen were really good. The 2 that have been just dynamite for us are Bozer and Court. They're both a little bit different. Bose is just as steady, and he's just already earned our trust. He's going to get more and more and more and more just because of how reliable he is. He's a breakout machine. He's got a great stick. Courtsy's puck skills are as good as any we've had on the back end since we've been a program at this level. And then Shelley's really come on. He really needed a little bit of a reset after Providence, and with the way he skates, when he's competing and keeping it simple, he's very good. So we're really fortunate to have 3 kids that contribute as freshmen on the back end right now, and they're going to be big pieces of now and even bigger pieces moving forward.
Pavicich has been playing well recently. What have been the keys to his success?
It's just calm. He's calm. He's experienced. He makes the saves that he's supposed to make. That's all you want out of your goaltender. Just make the saves you're supposed to make, right? And if you can mix in a few here and there that you're not supposed to, then I think you got something, and that's what he's doing for us.
So you gonna play this weekend?
Don't know.
Coach, how have you and your coaching staff, especially with the addition of Mike Robert, kind of bonded throughout this year, and how have each of them kind of helped the team so far?
Yeah, I mean, we're a tight-knit group. We were last year too with Albie, and it feels even for you. I guess my general rule of thumb is you spend more time with your staff than you do your family. So you better enjoy being with them. You better have fun with them. And if I don't want to have a beer with you, then I'm not going to hire you. And Corbs is a great guy. He's made an impact on and off the ice. The guys love him. The experience he brings, the pedigree he brings. He's been a head coach at this level. We learn from him every day. and he's really settled into his role here, and we're thrilled to have him.
What is one of those lessons that you've learned from him through his winning ways over at QU and other head coaching jobs?
I think just the poise he has in critical moments. He's got a really calming presence, not only for our players but for our staff as well, because he's seen it all. He's been doing this. He's a career college coach. Right? He's been doing this a long time. 10 years at Air Force, ran a program at Huntsville for 8 years. Was an assistant at Robert Morris, and under a really experienced guy in Derek Schooley, and then obviously went to Quinnipiac and won a national championship. So again, I've been friends with Corb since this started. He's one of the few guys that were genuinely really good to me and our program, and invested in our success, even though he wasn't a part of it. And then when this became available, it just kind of happened naturally, and it was always something I think we both wanted to do, and it was just the right time, and we made it happen.
Coach, when does Como look like he was out there for practice?
Como's rehabbing. He's just here this week, and then he's going back. He had a surgery in the off season, so he wanted to get some reps in this week before he heads back to Idaho. Yeah.
What's it like with that?
Oh, it's great. He was here for 5 years. Local kid, loves our program. Is a captain. One of our quote-unquote founding fathers for sure, and all those guys, they know how welcome they are here. They don't even have to ask. They just got to show up. Who's that? Charlie's looks like he's eligible to play. I don't know. We'll see if he's going to get in. It's hard for me to make changes after what we did up there, and as long as the guys are really sharp this week. At this point, maybe he'll get in this weekend. He might. We need some speed and some skill. After Friday, then there's a chance. You never know. It's a possibility. But I think to be fair to him, he's missed so much time. Giving him, this full week, and then giving him a few more weeks, and then getting some exhibition games in before the second half is probably going to be the best thing to set him up for the most success. And that's what we have to put first. And so that's probably what we're going to do.
You mentioned Chris interested in playing those exhibition games. How has his development been in the last couple weeks?
It's good. He's been working hard off the ice and then getting some individual work on the ice. The hope and the plan is to get him into at least one of the exhibition games and have him back for the Desert Classic. And right now he's tracking to do that. So we'll see. Hopefully there's no setbacks. He's obviously going to be a huge shot in the arm for us. He's like I told you guys, he's one of the most dynamic playmakers, if not the most we've ever had in our program. So to get him back for the back half and 20 games and playoffs is going to be tremendous.
Last one.
This week is a little bit interesting because last week you had off, and then you have a couple weeks off after this one. Is it fair to say that the message this week is kind of empty the tank and no?
Yeah. I mean, we're in the same boat as they are. They had last week off. These are the last two games. Everybody wants to head into break feeling good. It's a different situation than we're used to. We're used to having to play into mid-December and then play right away as soon as anybody would play us. We just had to take, as an independent, you take games and you can get them, right? So we've already had two weeks off first semester. They both came at great times, especially with how banged up we've been. And yeah, our guys have nothing to save anything for, and we're looking to continue to get points and climb the standings, and hopefully we do that this weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
What was it like playing youth hockey out here now, coming full circle playing for Harris?
It's been incredible. Playing in front of my hometown, playing in front of my family and friends. I mean, just doesn't get better than that.
What was your experience like playing youth hockey out here in the desert?
It was good for me. I mean, I played for great programs. I played for great coaches. I got really lucky in that aspect. Yeah, my development was great. It got me to where I am today, so I'm super thankful, super lucky.
How much have you seen youth hockey grow since you were a kid into what it is now?
I'd say quite a bit, especially with guys like Austin Matthews, Josh Stone, Matthew Nyes. My brother's in 07, so I've seen it firsthand. The youth players keep getting better and better out here, and the development programs keep on getting better and better coaching, so it's been great.
As a player from your standpoint, how big was this past off week?
It was, sorry, the off weekend or Denver?
Off weekend. How
It was huge. Obviously, guys have been banged up all year for us, so having an extra week to get healthy, recover. Guys that were in are playing banged up, so it's just huge from a recovery standpoint and getting ready to end off the first semester on a high note.
I know you never want to see guys get hurt, but for you, how gratifying is it when you get those third and second line minutes and get a chance to make an ability big time?
Yeah, it's my responsibility, when my number's called on to have an impact and kind of whatever role I'm in, second line, third line, fourth line, whatever it is, just do whatever's asked of me, help out my team in whatever way I can. I mean, like you said, I'm never wishing on an injury, but if it happens, I have to be ready to go in whatever role I'm asked to play.
Coach has said that you're one of the someone that brings together this team. Where does that come from, and how important is it for you to kind of keep everything light on a daily basis?
Honestly, I think it's just who I am. I think you can ask anyone. I'm a pretty loose guy. Sometimes probably too loose. Something I'm working on is not letting it affect some other guys on game days. But it's not something I really try to do. It's kind of just who I am, and if that's something they like, and I mean that's just a positive for me, I guess. Just come to the rink and be myself. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Has that always been your kind of personality through your hockey career?
I mean, being a goofball, I guess so.
How's the confidence in the locker room when you get off?
It's high, and honestly, throughout the season, I think it's been high. We never lost our confidence, no matter whether we were losing or winning. Now we have belief in our group, so no matter what happens record-wise, we have the utmost confidence that we can get it done on any given night.
Coach has said that he wants to make the Denver series a standard for this program. Have you kind of heard that message, and how do you guys complete that one?
Yeah, that message has been sent to us very loud and clear. Like Coach said, it has to be the standard, and it starts this weekend against Duluth. If we play like that every single weekend, we like our chances. We think we're going to finish well in the conference. We think we're going to finish the season well. So if we go out this weekend, play how we did last weekend, and not even just this weekend, every single weekend, one game at a time, we like our chances.
In terms of hockey, how would you look at this Denver series overall? Such a great success for you and the program, but Coach has mentioned that you are a very common presence in the crease on the net. Has that always been something that you kind of pride yourself on?
Yeah, it's always kind of been my game. Like, goalies are always different. It's just some guys warm up differently, whether it's on the ice, off the ice, prepare differently, everyone. I like to be nice and loose and relaxed, so when you're on the ice, you're not tensed up, you're nice and, like I said, loose, and just kind of get lost in the game. It's called the float, like you hear it flow state in hockey, where goalies, players, they get in it, and it's like nothing else is happening but the puck in front of you. And it's a pretty cool feeling, especially when you kind of step back and be like, I feel really good. And hopefully we can keep that rolling. The team looks like they're buzzing too, for sure. So Denver was a great weekend, obviously, but Coach has been telling us this past week, it doesn't matter now, right? It's all in the past. We could lose the rest of the season and Denver means nothing, right? So we just got to keep taking each weekend at a time, each week in practice, which we're really focusing on, really trying to engrave in our minds and our heads to get ready for UMD, because nobody in the NCHC is an easy team. So it's going to be a fun weekend and a good test looking after Denver to see where we are and how we will continue throughout the season.
How do you mentally prepare going into a weekend series against a team like Denver in their
Same as always. Like I've said it a few times now. Like being an older guy, it's just the less you worry about things, the better you'll play, and the better your team will feel comfortable when you play behind them. It's just, I think it's a great experience. You can take it one of two ways. You can take it like, oh, I'm scared, or embrace the quote unquote pressure. You only let pressure get to you. There is no such thing. At least that's what I was kind of read about and stuff. So yeah, I think it's just a really cool experience. I never got to play at Denver, which was sweet, and cool barn, a lot of people, loud, and obviously a great weekend getting a sweep. So can't complain, that's for sure. And just want to move forward from now.
So you've now had 4 games where it's been consistently you starting. Is that much you really settling in your game at all?
Yeah, it is definitely nice being a goalie, because it can be 1-1 or you sit a few games and you go back out, and it is tough. But when you're continuously playing every weekend, you definitely get in a better flow of, okay, I'm comfortable, I know how to play, how I need to play, how I need to prepare. I mean, it's just nice. You get in a routine, you know. And even if I wasn't playing, it'd still be the same thing. But definitely when you are playing consistently, it makes a big difference for how you play and mindset as well.
It seemed like you were seeing a lot of pucks. There wasn't a ton of traffic.
Yeah.
I guess the guys in front of you maybe pretty good this season in that area.
Yeah, we always talk about in practice. I mean, these guys I always tell them too, because beginning of the year we were struggling to score. We all know that, and we were always telling guys, get to the net, and that's how you're going to score in college hockey. But as a goalie, it sucks because traffic is so hard to look around. The first goal they scored on Friday was power play goal through traffic, nice little sift through, and I didn't see the puck, but you really gotta fight because every puck is savable. You really gotta fight around the screens, and it's tough because I'm not super tall. I'm like, just average for a goalie, like 6'2", whatever. Like Gibby's height, it'd be nice, but you find little tips and tricks while you're in practice too. Whether if it's a righty coming down on his strong side to the left side of the ice, you're going to be looking towards a stick. Because when you're looking towards a stick, he really usually has a short side open. Because once he pulls it across the net, you can kind of lean and shift over to the puck. So it's mostly being able to see the release of the puck, to where you can adjust and have a kind of sense where the puck's coming from. That's definitely the big thing when it comes to traffic. Because if you don't see it, then you're screwed. You just go down and hope it hits you, basically. Yeah.
Luke, on Friday, their second goal was just an unfortunate bounce, went off Sam and then went off.
Yeah, that was crazy.
For you personally, a puck that there's no possible way that you could have saved. How do you get right back to it and kind of get back to mentality? Okay, it's a tie game.
Yeah.
It's 0-0.
Like any goal, you kind of just smile, laugh it off. You're just like, it is what it is. You only can control what you can control, and that's what I've really been trying to tell myself this year. Because there's times where I earlier in my career where I would worry about players like, oh, we need to score, but that's not my job. My job is to stop the puck, and if you get a bad bounce, doesn't go your way, just be like, it is what it is, and just get ready for the next shot, because that's the most important one, right?
Is this maybe the most consistent that you've seen yourself play, and maybe even best that you've played in your college hockey career?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's been tough because freshman year I didn't play at all, but it's like a red shirt. It is what it is. Most goalies go through it. And then sophomore year was nice because I played 20-something games, and you got in a flow, and it's now I just feel like I'm in a really good group, good team. Nothing bad about the old schools, but I just think the way we mesh as a group and we practice on and off the ice, when we hang out, everything comes so naturally, and it almost just transfers over to the ice. You just feel good, just in a good mood. So yeah.
For you personally, you've had a crazy road in your life and your hockey career, from Russia, and then you spent some time in Florida, and now 3 different schools. Can you kind of take us through different places that you've been, and now ending up being here, and how happy you are here this year?
Yeah, I think it's been definitely a journey. I've never thought when I was growing up in Russia that I've ever gonna play in the U.S. and go to college, get a scholarship. All those things are great. But at the end of the day, you're thankful to your parents, right? That they kind of sacrifice their own stuff for the well-being of their kids. Like me and my brother get an opportunity. We got an opportunity to go to Shattuck. We got an opportunity to both go to college. He's going to go to college next year, on a scholarship too, which is awesome, It's been really tough, It's been really tough for my parents. I think they travel a lot to watch us play. Every time they come to the game, it's a special moment, right? I think some kids take it for granted, right? That have always been with their parents, and my dad couldn't be at the game for 2 years with me, right? When I was a sophomore and junior in high school, he never came to a game where he had to work, and now he's in the U.S. and he can make it to some games, and it's really special, definitely, right? And then you go through the path. You get ready for college, you go to college, and then you got to adapt again, right? You think you know everything, but you don't. And you got to go through all of it again and kind of learn new things, right? And that's kind of why you have older guys that you can kind of rely on, when I was a freshman at least. And they help you out. And again, you still miss your parents, right? And you're still thankful to your parents that you got there. Every time you put your gear on, you're thankful that they put their time into you. So maybe you can pay back that time to them in a different aspect, right? And then transferring to Northern was, I think, one of the best decisions I've ever made, right? And nothing against UConn, but Northern just gave me this really good opportunity and really good aspect, really good coaching staff that I kind of gelled in, and the guys, like, my junior year of hockey was unbelievable, right? Everything was there for me. And I kind of grew up into this different role of a player as well. And then after that, transferring here, getting a season-ending injury, that's kind of like put me on the path of transferring and getting my master's, going to ASU instead of signing pro, right? So I think it's definitely, like, my mom, always says everything happens for a reason. So I think this is the reason, that was the reason, and now I just have this opportunity and just take it and run with it.
Is it fair to say that maybe if you didn't get that injury last year, you wouldn't be here?
You never know, right? Again, that's kind of, I think a lot of people like to speculate and be like, well, what if you went there, this could have been better, this could have been worse. But I like where I'm at, so I'm never, I'm a person, when I make a decision, later on, I'm not going to sit there, and regret, because you're in your right mind to make that decision at that point when you have to make that decision, right? So you're not going to go back and be questioning yourself, because then you question kind of your whole kind of path from that decision, right? So never question yourself. That's, for me, that's what I go with, and I'm really happy to be here.
So you went right from Shattuck into college, true freshman. Although you're a grad student, you are an O2, which kind of puts you right in the middle of the pack age-wise on the team. How big was this off-season and I guess early this season for your development leaving college after this?
I think getting injured and kind of recovering. So I got injured end of February, right? Season ending. It was a torn MCL, completely torn, and then I had an option to get a surgery or to do rehab, and I decided to do rehab, right? So that's kind of, the recovery period is a little shorter than getting a surgery, right? But you can't do go and do hockey stuff in the off season. First, you got to build that, you got to recover from the injury, and then you got to do rehab, and then you got to strengthen your knee. So you can't be doing this hockey specific exercises, right? So you're not pretty much training till July when you're feeling good. So I started skating in July, kind of fully skating and getting in, and you lost already 3-4 months of actual training, so you got to get that back. And then August comes, you're like, okay, now I can skate. Now let's actually get into it, eh? Let's get in shape. So then you're trying to get in shape. So it was a little different off season. But also, I think the biggest takeaway for me is I took time away from hockey. In terms of, it's not like I wanted to take time away from hockey, but I took it away because of the injury, and I didn't go to the rink. I didn't do anything pretty much for 2 months, kind of hockey related. And I think that gave me so much. Now, got injured again in the beginning of the season, but coming back now, I'm excited to be on the ice, And you go through stages. You always want to play hockey, right? That's kind of that you want it to be your profession, but what makes it good for athletes is I think you enjoy doing it, right? You're not waking up and oh, I gotta go to work, right? I can go do something that I enjoy, right? So that's why. But that taking time off is really important, and that's what excites you when you come back, right? So I think that was big. That's my biggest takeaway from the off season.
Coach said for you that the first few games that you came back, starting with the Northern Series, you weren't 100%. When did you start feeling 100%? How much of an impact has your health had on how great you've played?
I think it takes you 4 or 5 games to get going. So probably Omaha series was my first series where I actually felt good about myself. And I think you just get better and better, kind of And what happens is I think guys go through that kind of series. You get into games and you get acclimated, right? And then you're going up, 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 up. And then at some point there's gonna be a slump, January, February, right? But because of me missing 6 games, I think that slump could be later, and we can just avoid it this year maybe. That'd be great. But that's just how hockey works, how college works. So you just prepare game to game, weekend to weekend, take it day by day.
You mentioned being a freshman, leaning on those upperclassmen. Now that you are that upperclassman, how have you helped out the freshmen and all the young guys on the team?
I think everyone, it's just you're kind of a coach in a way to those younger guys in terms of like every guy's different, right? You can't come up and be like, okay, you guys are all freshmen, we're gonna treat you all the same, right? And you treat everyone fairly, but everyone needs something. Like some guys need, you know, a little more confidence, and just some guys need to just like calm down because they're on it, right? But they just gotta take time away a little bit, right? Kind of reassess, come back to the rink, and be ready to go. So everyone has a different process to it, just like every person in this world. So you gotta definitely acknowledge that when you're talking to them, when you're interacting, when you're helping them out.
You referenced you've learned a lot of lessons throughout your career. Is there one that's just stuck with you throughout your time as like the biggest thing you learned?
I think the biggest thing for me, kind of in my hockey just path, is that when you do, just be consistent in your efforts, right? So not every day is going to be your best practice. Not every game is going to be your best game. Not every day is going to be, you know, not going to have a positive impact on your life maybe. Like there's going to be ups and downs, but you got to stay consistent with what you're doing. And what I mean by that is like you don't come to the gym and do a 4-hour workout and then I'm like, okay, I'm good for the week now. It's coming every day and being consistent with what you do. It doesn't matter how your path goes. If you're struggling on the ice, if you're doing really well, you just do the same thing, stick to the same routine kinda, and then that's kind of what keeps you calm, you know, cool and collected instead of going up and down.
You referenced your parents. Do they get a lot of games here at ASU?
Not at ASU. My dad has been to the Northern games just because how special it was, you know, for me to come back, and just that place in general is really special community for sure. They have been to a lot of games when I was at Northern because it was closer to them, just like a 6-7 hour drive. For them it's close. But they always watch. The next, I don't know, they want to get out here. Maybe you get to the North Dakota series, but they're definitely going to come to all the Minnesota games like St. Cloud and UMD in Minnesota. I wish they came more often, but like I said, every time they come, it's a special moment, you know, and it just gives you that like a little extra push for sure.
Artem, for you, this is your 5th year in college hockey, and a lot of the players have said that this is a very close group. They love to hang out on the ice, off the ice, and everything like that. For you, because you have the experience, what makes up a really good locker room and what makes up a really good team through camaraderie?
I think the biggest thing is you gotta enjoy each other's company, and when I say that, you know, it's like, it's not like, okay, we're hanging out, let's say at this time, and everyone's like, oh, I gotta hang out with those guys, right? It's, you enjoy, like when someone says, okay, let's go somewhere, it's like, let's go. Like yesterday, for example, it was pretty simple. There's this place, it's called like Taco Boys, give them a little advertisement. And I've never been, right? And Bennett, Shivik, and Cruz Lucius, like they love that place. They go every time. They should get an NIL deal from them or something, I don't know. So they invited me and Ryan Kerwin, the other transfer, and like we just went, 4 of us, you know, and just had dinner there, and it was awesome. Just kind of talking, and like talking, you don't have to talk about hockey the whole time, right? You talk about other stuff, and you kind of get to know people. You know what people are going through, so that what makes a team close is knowing, like, you know, what interests you, for example. I don't have to know you as a hockey player. I have to know you as a person to get close, right? So.
Is there anything specific that made you, Smalley and Alexander play like in that Denver series?
I think it's just kind of what we've been doing. We've been consistent. You know, like I said last week, it's consistency throughout, like what you do. So like we always come back after a shift. We talk through it, you know, and we're not on each other, but we're trying to make each other better. So it's constructive criticism, and everyone takes it, right? If like, let's say I didn't see a play and Smalley comes up to me and goes, okay, I was open right there, you got to make a play. So next time you're coming in, you already have this, you're building chemistry. I think the other thing what's big, we've been sticking with our lines, so we got chemistry now between our lines, so that's why I think we started scoring goals too. That's just my take on it. But
Did the team do anything for Thanksgiving at all?
Yeah, so some guys who are from Arizona, like, have houses, relatives, obviously they went and spent it with their families. For me personally, a couple of us went to Lucas Sillinger's house. He was nice enough to invite us. It was great, you know. His parents were great, took us in, had a great meal. And some guys went to Hymovitch, I think. So it was just like 3 or 4 houses that guys kind of dispersed in. In Russia, we don't have Thanksgiving. So every time I celebrate, I just look at the moment, you know, spend time with your teammates, spend time with people, you know, eat a nice meal. So, it's always great. It's always great.